They told him he wasn't going anywhere, not even with a bullet tearing through his leg, not even as his blood soaked the pavement.
Vaughn made it through 2 surgeries. He had 3 surgeries ago. He made it through 2 surgeries. And then after the second surgery, he hopped off the bed and started fighting the nurse and said where his gun at. And he went and he died because he went into shock. So he was through surgery. How hours later, Kayla know to my son, he fought the nurse. She the one told me that. His mama didn't even know that. How you knowing what's going on inside the hospital that quick?
Because she was there at the hospital.
You ain't going nowhere, the officer snapped, cold, unmoved, as King Von pleaded for his life. In the shadows of police lights and panicked voices, a deadly silence settled. Von, once hailed as the most authentic voice out of Chicago's notorious O Block, lay dying on an Atlanta street. 4 years later, the Bodycam footage...
Security that moves with Von, and he traveled with 2 more securities. You know what I'm saying? Von traveled in a proof truck. And not only that, his guys are security, man. He travels with 10 to 15 guys daily. They protect and love Von more than any security would. I think we're about 8, 10 cars deep, 20, 25 on entourage.
Footage would surface, forcing the world to relive the moment it all ended, and exposing how messy, political, and deeply human this story really was. It wasn't just Von on that street, it was Muwop, one of Von's most loyal soldiers, who risked everything to drag Von's body toward a getaway car. You can see it in the footage. Muwop fighting off confusion, trying to save a man already slipping away. That same loyalty would later get him caught in the legal web that followed Von's death, indicted in 2024 for a murder-for-hire plot that prosecutors claim was retaliation against Quando Rondo. For Muwop, the ride-or-die mentality wasn't just a phrase, it became a prison sentence. Standing on the other side of the chaos was Lil Tim, the man who pulled the trigger. He was arrested the very next day, charged with King Von's murder. But in a twist no one saw coming, the charges were quietly dropped in 2023. The court called it self-defense. The streets called it a slap in the face. And Lil Tim? He walked free, barely speaking publicly since, protected by silence, fear, or maybe both. In the middle of it all was Quando Rondo, the man Von came to fight. Quando was never charged for Von's death, but his world crumbled anyway. He became a target, not just for the law, but for the streets. In 2022, his cousin Lul Pab was gunned down in Savannah, allegedly on orders from Lil Durk's circle. Quando Suyori broke down on Instagram Live, crying as he carried Pab's lifeless body. He begged to be left out of...
Leaving the club is that we're going to the hotel and the Airbnb, because that's normal routine. The club he went to, the after hours, wasn't getting paid for. I didn't have no acknowledgement of. This team didn't have no acknowledgement of. That was a complete bond.
The beef. But beef doesn't work like that, especially not in the drill scene. And then there's Lil Durk, Von's mentor, his friend, the one who saw potential in a street kid and gave him a mic. But that friendship would cost Durk more than he could imagine. In 2024, he was arrested and charged in the same murder-for-hire case as Muwop. Prosecutors allege that Durk, in a fit of grief and vengeance, greenlit a hit on Quando Rondo. The evidence, over 230 GB of digital proof, 20,000 pages of investigation, and a trial pushed to October 2025. If convicted, Durk faces life. The man who...
Everybody else that was with us driving to the Airbnb. And Von literally went to the venue by himself. We got a call later from people in the car, like, hey, bro, we here by... Matter of fact, I think from his DJ, was like, hey, bro, we here by ourselves. Like, where you guys at? And everybody rerouted to that venue.
For some reason, the people in Von's truck...
pulled Von out of the streets may now spend the rest of his own life behind bars. But not everyone in this story held a weapon. Asian Doll, Von's on-again, off-again girlfriend, found herself caught in the middle of emotional crossfire. She mourned Von loudly, on Twitter, Instagram, interviews, calling him her soulmate. But in 2025, Von's own sister went live and claimed the relationship was a lie. That Asian was just for clout. The internet exploded. Fans picked sides. Some defended Asian. Others dug up old texts and videos to expose her. It became a digital courtroom, with Von's love life on trial. Behind the scenes, Walter Silk, Bennett, Von's father, loomed like a ghost. A feared name in Chicago's gang scene, Silk was murdered when Von was just 11. That loss broke something in him. Vaughn's mother tried to hold the family together, but with no father figure, Vaughn found mentors in the...
For some reason, Vaughn wasn't himself. This man is like, I promise you, the best artist I ever moved in my life. For some reason that night, it was off. Like, he stayed in the car for like 30, 35 minutes.
His manager then hopped back into his truck, trying to check on King Von. Vaughn then finally agreed to go into the lounge.
Streets. One of them was Boss Top, a senior member of O Block, who taught Vaughn how to move in silence and how to make sure enemies never came back. Top would later say in a rare interview, "Vaughn was built different. That boy didn't fear nothing, not even death." On Reddit, the debates rage on. Some fans call him a legend, comparing him to Pac or Biggie. Others say he was a serial killer glorified by music. One user wrote, "Y'all crying over a dude who tweeted homicide in the air before catching a body." Another fired back, "He was just a product of his environment. He turned pain into poetry." And that's what makes Vaughn's legacy so polarizing. He was both the voice of a generation and the warning against becoming it. Media outlets played their part too. Mainstream press gave Vaughn's murder a few headlines, then moved on. But pages like Asherock's History and AMI Mixtape has documented every frame, every rumor, every update. Underground journalists kept the story alive while the industry capitalized. Vaughn's posthumous albums dropped, charted, and sold millions. But behind every stream was a question. Would he have wanted this? Or is this just exploitation dressed as a tribute? Meanwhile, the streets of Chicago remain unchanged. Vaughn murals are tagged, honored, then disrespected. In March 2025, rival rapper FBG Cash filmed himself mocking Vaughn's mural. Weeks later,
I went to the car he was in. I was like, "Yo, Vaughn." Went inside the passenger seat. I'm like, "Yo, Vaughn, bro, what's going on? Like, you know, everybody here waiting. Let's go." He was like, "All right, let's go." We're telling security, "Hey, it's time to go in now. Vaughn's ready." You know what I'm saying? We've been here too long. Let's go inside the club. They check the venue, go inside, check the outside, make sure there's no...
Cash was dead. The message was clear. Disrespect carries a price. Even in death, Vaughn had enemies and fought.
Like you said, the King Von situation. Like there was absolutely no reason for Von to be rolling around with that dude. Like there was no, especially since he had security. Like, you know, someone should have jumped in. It should never even.
King.
I almost feel like, but I almost feel like if you have real security,
all of them is post blast. I feel like they would have been more ready in Chicago.
Sad, man, sad. I mean, the whole King Von thing is really kind of hanging
me up,
over
bro.
everyone right now.
That f me up, bro. Cause I like King Von.
Followers willing to go to war in his name. And then there's the system itself. The Fulton County DA, known for pursuing high-profile RICO cases, is now under pressure. Why was Lil Tim's case dismissed? Was the body cam suppressed on purpose? Who benefits from the delay in justice? Every new headline adds more fuel to a fire that won't go out. As King Von's next posthumous project, King of Drill, prepares to drop later this year, fans are bracing for one last glimpse into his mind. A final chapter written in the voice of a man who knew he wouldn't make it to 30. A man whose life was a war zone, whose music was a map, and whose death became a movement. Whether you see him as a villain, a victim, or something in between, one thing is undeniable. King Von changed the game. And his story isn't just about one night in Atlanta. It's about the system, the code, the music, the silence, the betrayal, the loyalty, and the lives still unraveling because of it.